All right, so let's talk about why saying no is an act of self-love. So let's talk about why so many women feel like guilty, not like, they feel guilty when they say no. Not uncomfortable, not like awkward, but genuinely guilty, which as though they've done something wrong. Which when you think about it, I mean, no is a part of life. No one, who would say yes to absolutely everything? Nobody. So that's interesting. We all have limits. We all have needs. We all get tired. We all have days where we simply can't do one more thing, and yet women feel guilty for having these limits. Let's say someone asks if you can help. You already know you're exhausted. You know that your schedule is full. Your body is telling you that you need some time to yourself. But before you've even answered them, there's another voice that says, you should. You should help. You can make it work. Don't let them down. That's a big one. Or maybe, oh, just say yes this one more time. Not because you want to, but because saying yes feels easier than sitting with the guilt of saying no. We're obviously not born feeling guilty for having boundaries. Most 2 or 3 year olds know very well how to say no. They'll tell you what food they like and what they don't like, what kid they like in school and what kid they don't, what they want to do and what they don't want to do. They're really aware of what they need and what they want. So where does this guilt come from? A lot of us may have been praised for being helpful, you know, and being helpful is a good thing, but maybe it turns you into being the responsible one because you want to not impress, but you want the adults in your life to be proud of you or to speak highly of you. And so you, when the helpfulness or the responsibleness is reinforced, you do more of it because that's what you want. You want them to feel proud of you. Maybe you were praised for being easygoing or for not causing any problems, for always being very well behaved. Or maybe it didn't come from praise, but from having a really controlling parent who wouldn't accept your no. They wouldn't accept you creating boundaries. Maybe you learned that being a good daughter, a good sister, or a good friend meant making life easier for everyone else. Again, there's nothing wrong with these, well, the last one, yeah. There's nothing wrong with the qualities of being helpful, of being responsible, of being easygoing. Kindness is beautiful. Generosity is. Helping people is fantastic. I'm a huge helper. But if we're also never taught that our needs matter, that resting is okay, then that saying no doesn't mean that you're selfish, then it's really easy to grow into an adult that feels responsible for everyone else's comfort. This is really similar to the last video that I did, but there are some differences. So what if guilt isn't a sign that you've done something wrong, but that you've done something different? Okay, so if you've spent years saying yes, and you suddenly start saying no and putting up boundaries, of course, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar. Our brains really love what is familiar, even when what is familiar isn't always healthy, right? So maybe that guilty feeling isn't proof that you've made the wrong decision, but it's proof that you're practicing a new decision. So I don't have any guilt about saying no. This has only been around the last 2 or 3 years. I would say that two things happen. First, I realized that most older people, they live with a kind of I don't give a shit attitude. I don't care who I offend, and I didn't want to get to be old to start living from that space of everyone's living their life, just you know. And second, I made a list of the top 10 most important things in my life. And if someone or something isn't on that list, I don't feel anything negative regarding, claiming the limited time that I have on earth to my most important things and not their most important things. So for example, if there's a family reunion and, cousins and aunts and uncles, I will probably choose not to go because I'm not close to anyone in my extended family. And to go would be to put on a mask and not be myself and pretend that I'm someone that I'm not. And I would rather spend time on something that I love or someone that I love, regardless of what a family member or someone that is not on my list thinks about that, or whether what they think I should do. So those two things completely changed my life. So what happens when we never say no? I think that every time we automatically say yes when we really mean no, we're sending ourselves a message, a really dangerous one. We're sending ourselves a message that says, your needs can wait. You are not important. Your exhaustion is not important. Others people's disappointment matters more than your well-being. I mean, that's a bad message. And if we repeat this pattern for years, it becomes really easy to lose touch with ourselves. Not because we don't care about ourselves, but because we've become practiced at caring for everyone else. So saying no is definitely an act of self-love. It's a boundary. Like, you would probably have no problem, for instance, putting up a fence around your property so that you know where your property ends and your neighbor's begins. It's the same thing with boundaries. It's just, this is where I end and you begin. And the same way you would have no problem, putting up a fence to show where your property is, that's how you need to think of. If you need a visual to help you when you put up boundaries, it's the same thing. It's just, we're not the same. We're not the one thing. This is me and this is you. And in that space, there will be boundaries. So another thing is that if we have kids and we never say no to them and mean it, then they won't learn it either. And they won't learn how to put up boundaries because the adults that are raising them didn't have them. I heard this one time, I don't know where. I wish I could credit it. I don't remember who it was. They said something about how if a parent, if let's say a father does not teach their daughter how to say no and mean it, so like not give in when she cries or whatever, then when that young girl is in the backseat of a car, she needs to know what no means. You know what I'm saying? She might not realize that no is an option. Another thing that I've noticed is that many women aren't actually afraid of saying no. They're afraid of what comes after. They're afraid of what they imagine will happen after they say no. They imagine the disappointment. What if they think I'm selfish? What if they stop asking me for a favor when it's not the problem that I have with doing a favor, it's that I can't do it right now? What if they don't like me anymore? Sometimes we're not responding to what's actually happening. We're responding to the fear of what we are anticipating. And maybe it never happens. And those stories, they can feel incredibly real. What will they say about me? What will they think about me? But when you start loving yourself and putting yourself first, saying no really becomes second nature. It's as hard as that is to believe, it becomes such second nature. So I don't think loving yourself means saying no to everything. I don't think that's the goal. I think the goal is to be honest. And sometimes the loving answer is yes, and sometimes the loving answer is no. And the most important thing is that your answer comes from what is true, not from fear and not from guilt, not from believing that you have to earn your place in someone's life by always being available. Because here's something I hope you'll remember. Someone else's disappointment doesn't mean you've done something wrong. They have a right to be disappointed, right? I always say it's a choice. Being offended is a choice. You know, if someone is offended by something that I've done, I really can't do anything about that. Sometimes it simply means that they heard a no, and healthy relationships are able to make room for that, for hearing a no. I can't. I don't want to, whatever it might be. So this week, before you answer a request, I'd love for you to take just a few seconds instead of answering automatically and ask yourself, what would my honest answer be if guilt wasn't making this decision? You don't even have to change your answer, or you don't even have to answer right away. You can say, let me think about it. But notice what your first response is. Notice what your body tells you. notice if like guilt comes up or if self-love comes up. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So let me know in what situation do you find it hardest to say no? Let us know so that we can give you some support. As always, I want to leave you with this thought that your love for yourself is more important than anyone else's, which is why I don't feel guilty if I don't go to a family reunion, because my love is more important than anyone else might feel for me. I'll see you next week.